In this video, I want to share with you some incredible insights I gained from a course I got the chance to participate in. These couple of years, in fact, I was able to participate for the first time in multiple online courses held by mentors whose guidance I've been following for years. Through the years, in fact, I committed to invest in myself as my greatest asset and resource. The best choice ever, since what I get from such investment are more and more resources to develop myself. What is up, you guys? I am Lenny, and today I'll share what reshaped my money mindset. For years, in fact, I carried limiting beliefs around money, thinking it was all about the hustle, control, guilt, shame, struggle. But I discovered that money is just a value exchange, and abundance instead is a state of being. Therefore, if you have ever felt stuck in the hustle, if you have ever feared money as control, or maybe you have struggled with guilt and shame around wealth, this video will help you reframe your perspective, and it will remind you that you are the source and the resource of infinite value. Without any further ado, let's begin. So why do we even want money? We want money because of what it represents. We want money because of the feeling we attach to what money can provide. It may be security, freedom, relief. It may be even be power. People do not want to have money. They want to be what money represents. This is what we attach to money, and this is what it provides us through services. Therefore, the next question to ask is, what even is money? Money that we all want. Why does it even exist? Money is an exchange currency. It is a neutral and conventional tool humans created to serve a purpose. In fact, for the longest time in human history, man exchanged stuff for other stuff. Money came into the game to provide for services which aren't material and can't be corresponded through a material exchange. This is why, in the common sense, we tend to equal money to opportunities, privileges, and so on. This to say money is a representation of a perceived value. This value depends on the demand of supplies and the availability of the response. Therefore, what we believe something is worth is what we are willing to exchange for it. The most important shift occurs when, instead of the question, how do I get money, we ask, how do I create something of value others are willing to exchange money for? This shift helps us realize that the resources are not outside of us. They are inside of us. The value comes from us. It's what I create, the problems I solve. This is abundance. Abundance as a state of being, who we are. And this leads me to my key point. Abundance is the prerequisite for money and not vice versa. This is also the key question to ask. Do I want money or do I want abundance? Abundance of time, privileges, resources, opportunities, synchronicities, gratitude. This is all accessible in the present moment. And this is what we get security, relief, freedom, willpower from. The next step is how to manage such abundance, how to handle it. This is the point my board, which I shared in my previous videos, comes in hand. The what, my what, is the expression and the communication of who I am, my self-representation. The why is the connection, the condivision with others, which lead to my self-realization. This way, I am the writer, the director, the actor, and the spectator of my own narration. How? Through intention and inspiration, devotion and dedication, commitment, through consistency and coherence. This helped me to work through one of my limiting beliefs around money, which comes from society and culture, and maybe it resonates with you too. The fact that money is accessible only through hustle. This idea gives a sense of rushing, of chasing. Yet abundance doesn't force, it flows. The flow is the momentum which leads from an idea, a vision of the self, to a manifestation, a version of the self. I do not need money. I desire to create a lifestyle, a career, therefore a self-representation, a representation of a journey of self-realization. By being myself, therefore by simply doing myself. Another limiting belief I had around money was that it is a form of control. It's used to control us by the power institutions. I realized that this limiting belief had a lot to do with my family and my ancestral line. In particular, it has to do with a sense of guilt and shame. Some of us tend to link to money. My conditioning, in fact, led me to believe that guilt is a reason some people have no money, and shame instead is attached to people who have a lot of money. Therefore, you cannot have money because others, meaning the institutions, will manage it for you. This is to say, I have no control on money, and others will control me through money. Through this conditioning, for the longest time, I put value outside of me instead of inside of me. And the same goes with willpower. For the longest time, in fact, I considered abundance as a have instead of a be. However, as I realized that I am the resource and I am the value instead of having resources and having value, I also realized that no one can control me. Finally, if money is no hustle and no control, money isn't also a struggle to manage, which was my final limiting belief. In fact, since I know what I want because I know who I am, this means I can also manage what I want because I can manage who I am. This is how from the being depends the having and the doing instead of vice versa. In conclusion, it all led to this question I ask myself. What do I value? Because maybe others value the same, and this means I can monetize, therefore transform into material value what I create for others to share. As I share this reflection, I hope it may resonate with you as well. If so, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.